3, 2, 1, action. Brecht. In this video, I'm gonna talk about Bertolt Brecht and then his epic theater. So what we're gonna see is his early life, and then his theater life, and then what is epic theater. So let's dig into it. First, chapter 1, his life. So with his original name, Eugen Bertolt Friedrich Brecht, he born in February 10th of 1898, Augsburg, Germany, in the south, in the
A few moments later.
in Bavaria. Yeah, so most of his early life he stayed in the same place, South Germany. When he was 16, the First World War broke out, and most of his friends just left the school, went to war. His father thought maybe I could just get him out of this place so he would be just safe. So Brecht does his study of medicine in Munich from 1917 to 1921. During the war 1916, Brecht starts writing a newspaper under the name Bertolt Brecht. In 1918 though, he got enrolled in army and then he was posted in the military hospital. Since he was a medic student, Brecht goes to Berlin. In 1921-1922, he's fascinated with Berlin's culture scene. He starts writing plays and then meets with Arnold Brunnen, which later Brecht will change his name to something close to Arnold, so he will make it Bertolt instead of Bertolt. And from 1924 till he leaves Germany in 1933, he stays in Berlin, working mostly with Max Reinhardt and then Erwin Piscator. Whatever. Erwin Piscator, he is a guy who helps Brecht forming the epic theater actually. This time, Brecht writes one of his most famous plays, the Three Penny Opera, and is highly influenced by the Marxist ideas, so he becomes a Marxist at that time as well. Since Germany was pretty much bowling, and then he wasn't the one that was wanted in Nazi Reich, so he decided to run away from Germany. He went to exile, first in Denmark, then Sweden, then Finland, and eventually to United States. He went to United States and stays there. He writes most of his plays, famous plays, in exile. And in the United States, since there was another hectic thing after the war against communism, and there was a committee named An American Activities, they summoned him and then he testified. He testified front of House of Un-American Activities because of his communist involvement. Actually, there's a movie about this, not about Brecht, but about the blacklisting of communists at that time, and then also the people who suffers with this witch hunt during those times. The movie called Trumbo, made in 1915, with the famous actor from Breaking Bad. The film is portraying the life of Dalton Trumbo. Trumbo, a screenwriter from Hollywood. He returns to Germany after the war, to East Germany though, since it's a communist place, right? So, in Berlin, he starts his company named Berliner Ensemble. I think it means Berlin Assembly or something like that, with his wife, Helene Weigel. So, yeah, that happens from that time till his death at 1955. He keeps writing plays, forming them on the stage, playing them with his wife, and then creating a good epic theater era. Chapter 2, Epic Theater. So, Verfremdungs effect, which is V effect, or alienation effect, or estrangement effect, or distancing effect. Basically, just keep the audience away from the play and make them listen it, watch it, with the eyes of a critical thinker. So what Brecht wants is that in his plays he wants to educate people. He doesn't want the audience to just watch it, enjoy it, and then go home and just sleep on it, and I don't know, at that moment they live with it, the audience live with the story, but at the end they just, oh, whatever, nah, it was good. He doesn't want this. He wants to teach, he wants to put his political view, he wants to open the minds of people so they would see what the heck is going on with this world, you know? In one of his famous quotes, he says, art is not a mirror with which reflect the reality, but a hammer with which to shape it. So, what we see is waking up the audience, waking up to the political realities, but not emotionally but intellectually, getting the people into action of changing the political structure of their era. Another quote of Brecht says that the dramatic theater's audience says that I have felt like that too. Epic theater audience says I never have thought it. It's extraordinary. It needs to stop. So in normal cases, the element of theater would form a coherent vision for the audience. So they would follow up with the story, live with it. But in epic theater, there's a conflict. A conflict that ejects audience from the theatrical illusion. So think about this. The audience is watching it, but they're so irritated with this conflict of stage going on, this story, the actors, the lighting, everything is so absurd, everything is so out of control, is that it gets them into this mood that they don't belong to the story. They are the audience watching the story with the critical mindset that this is just a play and it needs to teach us something. It's not something that we just watch it to enjoy. So, in terms of acting, as Brecht puts it in this form, he says in one of his quotes, the actor is not Lear, he shows Lear. So, he wrote dialogues as actors would talk to themselves in third person. It could be given an example as a street scene. So imagine eyewitnesses of a car accident trying to describe this to a third person. So they wouldn't be like the driver himself or the victim who gets hit by the truck, but they would just mimic them, but not actually living the moment as they would be the drivers themselves. So that's the acting of epic theater. And Brecht, of course, splits each scene with this terrific thing. Yeah, on top of the stage, you would see like a big sign about the event, like a title or an introduction or like a brief information about the scene that's been going on. A brief passage will be written on the half curtain, not the full curtain, so the audience would be totally split up. Brecht wants them to believe into the story, but he also wants them to not believe into the story. He wants the both of these facts of being totally realistic and being fake and holding these both aspects of the story together. So living this doubtfulness, two-sided life into the theory itself. So the audience would know that it's fake, but they also know that it's real. So they live with the story, but they also critically look at it. They also be aware of the stories that it's not real. There's actually good examples of it. The alienation effect and how it's been put into the play, such as some of the actors would make the explosion.
A few moments later.
They would make the bomb effects. And of course breaking the fourth wall all around the place, like all the time. Just break the fourth wall, talk directly to the audience, just destroy the amazing structure of Aristotle. I don't like English. Just break the structure of the classical theater and just form a new theater called epic theater. It didn't happen like that actually. At the end, his way of putting the theater together, the play together, actually the theater became much more realistic, much more watchable, or it just forms a better play at the end. Poor Brecht, he didn't want this to happen. And then, since I'm a terrific editor, I decided I wouldn't do like a vlog style, but I would edit it. Maybe it will be easy, maybe it will be hard. But here comes Bertolt Brecht.